Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be discussing about genetically modified organisms or the transgenic animals. So what is genetic modification? So what is the meaning of genetic modification? So genetic modification refers to altering a gene. Okay, it's a process of altering a gene which is present in an organism so that the organism will be better. It will be having an improved quality. So that is the main reason for doing genetic modification. So what is genetic modification? It is nothing but alteration of a gene in an organism using rDNA technology, and the reason why this is done is to improve the quality of the plants or the animal. Okay, so when we talk about genetic modification, it is done for both plants as well as for animals. So whichever gene we want the plant to be carrying or we want the animal to be carrying, that gene can be inoculated, it can be incorporated by rDNA technology into the plants as well as the animals. So by doing this, the plants as well as the animals will be having a better quality. Okay, so that is the main purpose of doing genetic modification. Alright, so when we talk about genetic modification, the gene which is going to be transferred into the animal is called as the transgene. So this transgene is nothing but the gene of our interest. So for example, if a rice is there, so to that rice I want a specific gene to be added. So that gene which I'm going to be adding is called as the transgene, or it is also called as the foreign gene. So why is it called as a foreign gene? The reason why it's called as a foreign gene is because that gene is naturally not present in the organism. It is going to be artificially put into the organism. So it is known as the foreign gene. Okay. So the transgene is nothing but the gene which is going to be inserted into the organism. And then the animals, the organisms which are going to be expressing the transgene are called as the transgenic organisms. So after inserting the gene into an organism, if that gene expresses the particular work of that particular gene, then we will be calling it as a transgenic organism. So transgenic organism are going to be expressing the transgene. Alright. So now let's take a look at for what reason plants and animals are genetically modified. So the reason for genetically modifying plants is, first reason is the plants will be able to be disease resistant. Okay, so that's the first reason. To make disease resistant variety of plants, they are genetically modified. And then second thing is to make them more tolerant to the environmental conditions. Alright, and then the third is to improve the nutritional quality of the plants. Okay, to increase the nutritional quality, to make sure that it is disease resistant, and also to make it tolerant to the environmental conditions. So for all these reasons, plants are genetically modified. So when we talk about animals, animals are genetically modified to improve the proteins. Okay, so animals are a very rich source of the proteins. So to improve the proteins and for even getting the better quality of the animal, the animals are actually genetically modified. Now let's take a look at some of the examples of transgenic animals as well as the transgenic plants. So first let's talk about the transgenic plants. Under that, the first example that I'm going to be giving is the golden rice. So what is this golden rice? So the golden rice is actually a transgenic, genetically modified organism only. So it's a rice variety. So what is the speciality of this golden rice and how is it going to be created? So golden rice is created by adding beta carotene gene into the rice. So beta carotene gene is added into the rice, and that is how the golden rice is produced. So what is the function of this beta carotene gene? This beta carotene gene is very much important for the synthesis of vitamin A. Okay. So it is very much important for the synthesis of vitamin A. So when we combine this beta carotene gene with rice, and what happens is it is giving rise to what is called as the golden rice. And when we consume this golden rice, we will not be facing the deficiency of vitamin A. So naturally, we will be getting the source of vitamin A from our diet itself. So that is the reason for creating this golden rice. So golden rice, if you consume, you will not be able to become deficient of vitamin A. And the next example is the Bt gene. Okay, so what is this Bt gene and from where is this going to be isolated? So Bt gene is actually isolated from a bacteria which is called as Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, so this Bacillus thuringiensis, from this only the Bt gene is isolated. So this Bt gene, which is obtained from Bacillus thuringiensis, produces a toxin which is called as the cry-toxin. And this cry-toxin, which is produced by the Bt gene, helps to, it affects the insects. So this cry-toxin, it actually affects the insects. So when this Bt gene is incorporated into plants, what happens is the plants will be becoming insect resistant. Okay, so what are they doing? They are obtaining Bacillus, from Bacillus thuringiensis, Bt gene is obtained because this Bt gene produces a toxin which is known as the cry-toxin, and this cry-toxin affects the insects. Okay, so when this Bt gene is incorporated into a plant, the plant will be resistant from the pest attack. Okay, so these are the two examples for genetically modified plants. Now let's take a look at the genetically modified animals. So under genetically modified animals, we will be studying two examples. One is the transgenic fish and the other one is the transgenic sheep. Okay, so when we talk about transgenic fish, for producing this transgenic fish, actually the growth gene is going to be inserted into fishes. So what is the purpose of using growth gene into the fishes? So the reason why they are doing this is because to increase the size of the fish. Okay, so basically to increase the size of the fish, growth gene is put into the fishes. And when the growth gene is put into the fishes will grow much more when compared to its normal. Okay, so to improve the size of the animal, this growth gene is going to be put into the transgenic fishes. Okay, and when we talk about the transgenic sheep, actually for what purpose sheep are used? Sheep are used as a source of wool. So we get wool only from the sheep. Okay, so transgenic sheeps are created. Okay, so let's see how transgenic sheeps are created. So transgenic sheeps are going to be created using genes which have the amino acid cysteine. Okay, so the genes which are going to be responsible for coding for the amino acid cysteine is going to be added in transgenic sheep. So what is cysteine? Cysteine is a sulfur containing amino acid. So sulfur containing amino acid is only cysteine. Actually, when sulfur is added, it gives a very good wool quality. So the wool quality will be improved when cysteine is added because it is a sulfur containing amino acid, and the presence of sulfur, it will improve the wool quality. The wool which is obtained from the transgenic sheep, which is going to be having the cysteine, will be having a very lustrous and very fine wool. Okay, so that is the reason for taking a gene which is going to be having the amino acid, which is going to be coding for the amino acid cysteine, so that the transgenic sheep will be able to produce a very good quality of wool. Okay, so these are some of the examples of the animals which are genetically modified. So I hope you understood what we have discussed in this video. Thank you so much for watching.